Compassion fatigue. This has been a phenomenon that has been seen mostly within professional frontline workers, military, and other first responders. However, studies have shown that it has also infiltrated its ways into homes, with more trauma and suffering being exposed to people, whether they have experienced or witnessed it on media. So, what is compassion fatigue? What are the signs and symptoms? And how do you alleviate some of the symptoms if you believe you're experiencing compassion fatigue? Well, we're going to get to all those questions and more. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. For those of you new to my channel, my name's Alexa Simos, licensed therapist and certified drug and alcohol abuse counselor. And this is my channel, Real Life Psych, where we discuss everyday mental burdens that have a significant impact on our physical and mental health. New episodes are going to be coming out every Sunday for what we like to call Not So Scary Sundays. So you can think of this as your morning pep talk that you needed to get out of bed and start your day. Now, let's get back to the good stuff, shall we? The American Institute of Stress has defined compassion fatigue as the emotional residue or strain of exposure to working with those suffering from the consequences of a traumatic event. Compassion fatigue can occur due to exposure in one case or can be due to a cumulative level of trauma. The prevalence of compassion fatigue has risen amongst the average person who may not be directly exposed to a trauma or situation. Rather, at a click of a button, they are watching someone get murdered or learn that a friend of a friend has passed away. Another definition of compassion fatigue refers to the experience of any empathetic individual who is acutely conscious of societal needs but feels helpless to solve them. People who actively engage in charity or volunteering may come to feel that they cannot commit any more energy, time, or money to help others because they feel overwhelmed and that the world's challenges are never ending. These vicarious traumas can cultivate and build up, leaving one to feel low energy, being unable to connect with others, and just have a more negative mindset about their job or their people in their circle. There is a difference between burnout and compassion fatigue. Burnout comes from being assigned too much work or not having the time to complete the assigned tasks, leading one to feel emotionally exhausted and withdrawn. And to take it a step further, you can have both at the same time. The hard part about compassion fatigue is that it can feel like a cloud is over you, and it can be hard to identify that this is a stressor in your life. You may be helping others in need and be surprised that it may be bringing you down. Just like the fire of a candle, the more we take oxygen away from the fire, the flame will eventually begin to dwindle. Family, patients, or loved ones going through a tough time can cause a transference of depression, anxiety, and guilt for not having the same issues. So, what does this look like? Here's a list of symptoms one can experience with compassion fatigue. They can have emotional intensity that increases, cognitive ability that decreases, behavior and judgment that gets impaired, isolation and loss of morale, increased likeliness of depression and PTSD, or loss of self-worth. I found this really cool chart outlining how compassion fatigue can develop. One of the first boxes I want to mention is one's empathetic ability. Empathy is defined as an ability to share and understand the feelings of others. Being more inclined to feel others' feelings, suddenly you realize that your emotional stores are depleted and your compassion has been replaced by apathy or even anger. Other life stressors that can contribute to compassion fatigue are traumatic memories, prolonged exposure to suffering like frontline workers who dealt with COVID, concern, and on the flip side, detachment. What this illustration shows is how dynamic compassion fatigue really is. It doesn't just have one cause. So for fun, I decided to take the quiz, Are You an Empath?, which I have linked down below for you guys. And I scored a 49. Scores to 25 to 50 outlined people as being empaths, and scores 50 to 75 labeled them as extreme empaths. So being sensitive to what others around you are going through is important, but be mindful that this can take a toll on your own mental health as well. But I have good news. There are ways to alleviate compassion fatigue and be able to function at your baseline or better. Number 1, awareness. No, you're not weak and you're not being a selfish millennial, and I am one, so I can make that joke. You taking the time to watch this video and self-reflect is the first step of gaining awareness. We are so quick to be hard on ourselves in situations in which we are feeling worn out, thinking that we're just plain failures or we're not adequate enough compared to others. Take time to reflect on your mood. This can be done by daily journaling, tracking, kind of looking at your mood to see what made you feel angry, what made you feel happy, etc. The more we can use ourselves as guides, the more fulfilling the journey can become. Also, as I've said before, you are your best expert. No one can tell you how you're feeling or try to tell you to be tough. You know how you feel, and it's best that you reflect where you're at so you can be the best advocate for yourself. Number 2, self-care. I feel like with all mental health blunders, everyone is quick to say self-care. But in this case, I really mean it. Think about it. Most of what we've discussed are from stressors from outside sources that are having an impact on you. The best thing you can do for yourself is do something for you. And yes, I did write that in all caps in my notes because I think we've drifted away from what self-care can really be. Often we see people on TV shows or on social media out with their friends grabbing drinks or going to some type of activity. Yes, that can be self-care for some, but I challenge you to do a solo activity on your own. You'll be surprised at the clarity and self-awareness you can achieve just by simply going for a walk outside by yourself. Sure, this might not work for everyone, but I also want to normalize that you don't always have to be social to engage in self-care. Personally, I feel like I'm recharging my battery when I'm by myself. No offense to my wonderful partner, who is nothing but the best, but honestly, sometimes I just need that time to myself after meeting with friends or clients and just after a really long week. Trust me when I say you will learn more about yourself through these solo activities and might even feel confident to make it a reoccurring thing. While on the topic of self-care, I also want to normalize taking time from work. I think as a society, we have become more self-conscious with taking off work and looking lazy. If you're in a privileged position to have PTO and other sick time, take it. As my partner reminds me, we don't live to work. You need to embrace your life outside of work and identify what you enjoy, and then take the time to do it. Number 3, consult with a professional. As always, it's so important to talk to a professional about your current symptoms and functioning. Yes, friends are great, but there are professionals out there who are trained in treating compassion fatigue and can help you along your journey of healing and even awareness. Counselors or psychologists are a great way to gain an unbiased opinion of what is going on in your life. Remember, the power of talking is also a real thing. Being able to hear your thoughts summarized to you from a professional sometimes, and really oftentimes, sounds so different when they're in our own head. And as stated earlier, this professional can help you with your journey of self-awareness and might be a resource for you to even use with your past compassion fatigue. Mental health professionals are so awesome, and I know I'm biased when I say this, but we really are, so don't be afraid to consult with one. That's it for today, you guys. If anything stuck out for you during this episode, or you want to share your experiences with compassion fatigue, please leave a comment below. The more we talk about our experiences, the more communal and connected we can feel, even if it's online. But in all seriousness, remember the power of expressing is very important. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're digging this content. We'll catch you guys next Sunday for a new episode. Have a great week.